Alright everyone, it's time to investigate one of the all-time hot takes that I have ever seen actually posted on the internet by a so-called influencer. Link in the description, archived of course. I couldn't use archive.today, it wasn't playing nice with the post, so if somebody could figure out how to run it through and not use the web archive.org service, because it's slower and they scrub things, that would be very much appreciated. That would be wonderful. Ashleybidens diary. We've got to talk about that old issue again. And the liberals are pretending that it's no big deal, as though if Ivanka Trump had a diary saying the same thing, it wouldn't be front page news 24/7 forever. Yeah, there's a little bit of a double standard there. Ashleybiden, Joe Biden's daughter, also a cokehead. I mean, I don't blame her. I mean, if I was Joe Biden's kid, I'd probably be on cocaine too. Just like a hunter. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. She wrote a diary when she was much younger, in which she ruminates on aspects of her life, and some of it's just meandering, it's just like basic teen stuff. But there's one interesting page in there. It's the Showers with Ashley section, and this has been verified to be real. Just to be clear, there's currently an ongoing legal case about the theft of this document. There's no legitimate reason that a 12, 13-year-old girl would write these sorts of things in a diary that she never suspected would be made public unless they were true. This would be top evidence in a legal case in any other circumstance. Be like, oh, Showers with Ashley. Well, Mr. Smith, I think that you need to come and talk to us. You may want to get a lawyer, because, we're literally going to cuff you right now. Can you imagine under any other circumstances if any other public figure had somebody, their own child, making such claims against them that they would skate? They wouldn't become major news? Can you imagine if Rand Paul's kid were to write about this? I guarantee that the liberal media would run with it. Again, if it were Donald Trump, it would be the only thing that you're seeing right now in the news. Ashleybidens diary is real. It has not been edited. It has been publicly released. We know that it's true. Gaslighting aside from liberals claiming, well, we don't know whether these entries were edited. Well, you can literally look at the images and you can tell that they're not. A basic forensic analysis or even just an optical analysis will show you that is indeed the diary entry. Ashleybiden, around the time that she was a teen, said that she had had inappropriate showers with her father. The presumptive age is around 10 or thereabouts, 10 or 11, somewhere in that neck of the woods. That's roughly canonical. Claiming that she was molested. She does not say by who, so it doesn't necessitate that it was Joe Biden that did that. It could have been Hunter, quite easily. He seems to have his own proclivities. Could have been a neighbor or something like that. So that part we can't read too much into unless she decides to spill the beans, so to speak. And considering the amount of money that her family is worth, I doubt that that'll happen. Edkrassenstein decided to weigh in. I'm going to read this verbatim because it's one hell of a hot take. I've got the archive. It's still live. He hasn't even scrubbed it. Edkrassenstein. There are plenty of fathers who have been in the same shower as their young daughters. Virtually all pediatricians and child psychologists support it up until a certain age. Let's go through this fucking hot mess. Number one, child psychologists and pediatricians seem to be getting more and more woke. So the definition of what they conceive of as acceptable, I don't think that that's meaningful at all. It is true that fathers will shower with their young daughters. What does young mean? Young means they're too young to actually wash themselves. You got a 2-year-old, like my daughter, for example, is not quite 2 years old. If I get into the shower with her, it's for the purposes of cleaning her because she can't do it herself. There's nothing inappropriate going on. But if she's 10, how can you possibly conceive of that as being appropriate? By the age of 7 or 8, they should be able to bathe themselves, unless the parents are neglectful, teaching their children, wipe front to back or something like that. Oh my God, he doesn't know how to shampoo her hair. Unless there's some problem with the parent, by the time that they're at that age, 7 or 8 at the very least, that would be the cutoff, and that's arguably an inappropriate cutoff too, situationally, at least for the opposite gendered parent. They would be able to shampoo their hair. They understand how to use soap. They understand how to towel off. Sometimes kids do weird shit, and they might run out of the shower untoweled, dripping water everywhere, and shampoo still in their hair or something like that. You got to address that. Generally, if they're being raised properly, I would think that by the time they're 10, they know how to take a shower. right? I mean, am I alone on this one, or is that pretty much canonical too? It's absolutely inappropriate what Joe Biden was at least allegedly doing with his daughter. In a million years, you could never conceive of a situation in which if this were any other public official, it would be accepted and that there'd be people defending them. If this were Donald Trump, Ed and Brian Krassenstein would be jumping down his throat, talking about how, oh, he walks in on young girls naked, and he said that he would bang his own daughter, and other stupid shit like that that's not even true. You know it. I know it. You know it. We all know it. That's what they would run with. But because it's Joe Biden, they circle the wagons. They got the DNC money, I suppose. There's no defense for it, though. There's literally no defense that Joe Biden or any of his handlers can give. That's why they're deflecting and gaslighting and pretending, well, the diary may not actually be true. Has it actually been disclaimed by Ashleybiden? Has she come out and said, no, that's not actually what I wrote. Here's what I wrote. No, she hasn't. Why? For legal purposes, mainly. And to circle the wagons, of course, because she gets a lot of money from being a Biden in the first place. That's the truth. The diary entry is real. It is not edited in any way. She believes she was molested. We're not sure by whom. It could have been Joe, it could have been Hunter, it could have been, again, some third party. Could have been an older friend, distant cousin. We're not sure on that one. We can't hold that against Joe Biden. And keep in mind, by the way, Joe Biden is the public figure at the nexus of this sort of thing. It's not about Hunter. It's like with Hunter Biden's laptop. Hunter's a crackhead. He trafficked possibly underage girls across state lines. He smoked crack. He illegally owned a gun, although I wouldn't prosecute him for that because I don't see the problem with him having a gun at the time, etc., etc., etc. He committed a number of crimes. None of that is meaningful. It gets people bogged down, though. The only real relevance there is that it mentions the big guy. It mentions business associations via his dad that were claimed originally not to have actually occurred, and the subsequent cover-up attempt to pretend that the laptop wasn't actually real. Well, we have no idea whether the things in this supposed laptop release are real. Well, they've all been verified. They're all real, every single one of them. The pictures of Joe with people he claimed he never met. Phone calls between Joe and people he claimed he never talked to. That's what's meaningful. With this, therefore, it's not meaningful that Ashleybiden had teenage fifis. That literally means nothing. The only thing that matters in there is its connection to a public official who arguably and allegedly broke the law and was perving on his own 10-year-old daughter. And that appears, unfortunately, to have been what happened. I have a feeling that the alleged molestation did involve Joe Biden, by the way, because I'm scratching my head trying to think, who else would it involve? Maybe Hunter. I think he's the older brother, so, and he's into weird shit, so that's a possibility. Otherwise, it would be Joe. I mean, if he's showering naked with his daughter when she's already pubescent, under any other circumstances, at the very least, we would consider it creepy. Like let's put yourself in, like, my shoes as content creator. Imagine tomorrow, you know, 8 years from now, somebody posts on the internet, oh, by the way, Styx is showering with his daughter and she's 10 years old. I mean, that would be career killing. Nobody would possibly defend it. But with Joe Biden, because people have so much TDS and so much cognitive dissonance, they pretend that the entry is not even real. But we know that it's real. There is an ongoing legal case involving the theft of this diary, as well as certain family photos and other bullshit. Supposedly from an abandoned property, so it's not exactly clear whether this involves theft at all. And you might skate on the charges, by the way. Veritas paid good money for the documents, and they did their due diligence. This is back when James O'Keefe was leading them. They didn't release it because they couldn't verify that it was actually real. It was released by a third party, but we know that it is real. By the way, they still got raided by the feds as a result of merely having had that diary for an extended period of time, even though they never released the material publicly, because they were trying to fact-check it to make sure it was real. Well, we know it's real. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the legal case. If Ashleybiden was not the owner of this document, if it was just made by somebody and then passed off as real, you wouldn't have a criminal case now, would you? So it's rather concerning. It's even more concerning that the Krassenstein brothers would be defending Joe Biden on this token. By the way, Ed is the more crazy one. Brian, occasionally you can actually talk to him and have a coherent conversation. Never managed that with Ed. I mean, the dude's a Fruit Loop. That's about all. Peace out.